Today we're going to talk about tips and tools in planning the next steps for your career development. We're going to talk about your curriculum vitae, your job search, and prepping for that all-important interview. So when we're preparing the perfect medical CV, remember that the CV is a stepping stone to your interview invitation. 3 to 8 pages are usually a sensible size to try to maintain. Quality here is far more important than the quantity of pages in your CV. Now, your CV should be easy on the eye. It should have the same format throughout. The layout, the spacing, the structure should all be very consistent. You want to present your skills and experiences in bullets. Very important is to remember, do not fabricate or embellish your CV, because your CV turns out to be a fact. Structuring the medical CV will include sections on your education, your professional qualifications, clinical experience, your non-clinical skills, your extracurricular activities, as well as a reference to physicians that can speak on your behalf. Among the personal details that you should include would be your full name, your degrees, your professional address and telephone number, your email, your date of birth, which is optional in the United States, and your citizenship. A career statement should be clearly outlined in your CV. You want to communicate a personal profile paragraph where you talk about your experience and your skills, as well as outlining your short-term and your long-term goals. Education and qualifications would follow, and you want to include your undergraduate degrees, your postgraduate degrees, any board qualifications that you have, and special courses like ACLS. You want to now outline a career history, and start that with your current position. Then talk about previous positions, and in this you want to include the dates, the level of the specialty training that was required for that, and your activity, as well as any supervisors' names. Clinical skills and experience will come next. And here we want to avoid any repetition with other sections. So make sure that bullet statements only appear about once in your CV. We want to know about your management and leadership experience. Medical leadership competency is something that is very important when you're being recruited into a practice or into an institution where you might have a long-term career. Committee responsibilities really show your commitment to the organization. If you've had a role in rotation management or supervision of trainees and/or perhaps junior faculty, this shows that you are a committed team player. If you've developed a course or a conference, this shows a commitment to personal development. And we'd like to know about the course title, the CME provider of that course, the dates that it occurred, how long the course was, and where it was located. Your research experience will be very important if you're going into a research job, obviously, but certainly shows the depth of commitment you have to the profession. Any quality assurance activities you have, including the topic, the institution, the role you played in the quality assurance process, and perhaps the guideline standards that you were using, show you that you are indeed a committed institutional physician. If you now have presentations and publications to list, you'd probably start with any research publications, followed by quality assurance publications or teaching publications. The date of the publication, the location where it occurred, and/or journals where it appeared would be very helpful. Now we're going to list your teaching experiences. The whole medical profession teaches, so this is very important. Audiences are important. If you're teaching patients about something, that's teaching. If you're teaching students or residents about something, list your methods and your desire to continue to do this at whatever level you're going to teach. If you have IT skills, many people are going to be looking out for that to see if there's a young colleague coming along that can help them with their data analysis. So the statistical packages that you can handle or the research tools that you're familiar with should be listed. Your personal interests show that you have a balanced life, and your extracurricular interests tell us more about you and give us a good warm feeling about what kind of person is joining our group. Now again, when it comes to your referees, 2 to 3 referees from previous posts are important, and you'll be listing their contact information. So when it comes to getting a job, the first steps are to determine what it is that you want to be doing. And you want to estimate the proportion of time that you desire to be involved with clinical care, educational activities, research activities, and administrative activities. And you're going to have to accept the fact that your first job may not be ideal and may not be your last job. So you'll consider the importance of geography and the proximity to your family in choosing your location. This turns out to be very important, and you should probably talk to your spouse also so that everyone's on the same page. When it comes to applying for the job, your response should probably be in a nicely composed cover letter that emphasizes what makes you stand out from other applicants. You want to update your CV. Make sure there's a current date on it. Be very accurate and spell check. You want to identify 3 faculty who think very highly of you for the designation as referees, and those would be the ones that you would include in your CV. Start the application process in the early fall of your last year of training. Use your own contacts or contacts from your mentors. Look for postings in journals, and if nothing else is working, consider cold emails. Now, assuming that you're invited for an interview, you may be in for quite the experience. Most jobs require multiple interviews. There may be 2 or 3 rounds of interviewing, and these may occur in person and/or begin with a phone call. Remember to dress appropriately, and men should indeed consider shaving if that's appropriate. Be on time for your interview. Being 10 minutes early scores you points. Be sure to convey your interest and enthusiasm for what it is that you feel you can do at this institution. But keep it formal and professional. So a formal interview presentation might actually be required for you if you're going into an academic setting or in industry or in some government positions. And this would require a seminar presentation to assess the teaching and communication capabilities of the candidate. Important skills to be able to develop and demonstrate in these presentations are data review and information, organization and presentation skills, slide preparation, and preparation for questions. That might be the most telling portion. Now let's get down to details. Use your time wisely during the interview. Ask meaningful questions to the correct people. Now, if you're interested in knowing what the salary range is, you should probably discuss that with the director or the chiefs of service. If you want to know what the benefits package is all about, well, you'll get an information packet from an administrator, and that will make that quite clear. If you want to know about the professional quality of life, that's best asked candidly to the most junior interviewers that you encounter. Ask about an opportunity to shadow them if that's appropriate. Now, deciding among several offers is probably your ultimate goal. So you probably want to sit down and list your perceived pros and cons for each position, and then sort of score each different job for the fit to your needs. Compare positions by their total fit, and then compare the lifestyle and the family considerations. So if you had 2 jobs that were very similar, but one actually met your geographic needs better, you'd probably go with that one. If you are offered a position, then you're still not done. You want to request a return visit, perhaps shadow a junior faculty member so that you get a second chance of seeing what it's really like to be there. You want to engage in informal discussions with the junior faculty, and these would be people that would have similar circumstances to yours, like people also who have small children or similar interests like skiing or running. Now it's time for final negotiations. Once you've received an offer, it is acceptable and expected that you might be requesting some modifications to the offered deal. You might consider questions about moving expenses, and the more senior the faculty member is, the more support is available for that. A little more base salary, perhaps, or more CME funds or paid parking. These are areas that can be discussed. Some things must be kept the same for all the faculty, so you can ask, but be gracious when there are limitations cited. Do not expect to be granted unique and desirable perks like scribes or valet parking or concierge services when the other junior faculty tell you that no such services are available. You're going to have to trust your instincts here. What was the atmosphere like? How did they treat you? And how did they treat each other? Did you pick up on little comments like, well, there's some issues with some of the faculty here? And you might not know exactly what that means. It probably depends on the source. There could be a difference. If a junior faculty member says that to you, they may be signaling that there's abusive behavior on the part of some of the senior faculty. On the other hand, if a senior faculty member says that to you, they may be signaling general dissatisfaction with all of the people that work for them. Be aware that there may be little comments that could bother you, and think about what they really mean. Circle back with the junior faculty and ask. Bottom line, would you feel comfortable working with those who interviewed you? And if that is true, then I wish you happy hunting, and may that first job last for a long time.